Next up, we have Carbon Revolution PLC, trades on the NASDAQ, CREV, and it's the parent of Carbon Revolution Limited, an Australian tech company which has successfully innovated, commercialized, and industrialized the advanced manufacture of carbon fiber wheels for the global automotive industry. The company has progressed from single prototypes to designing and manufacturing lightweight wheels for cars and SUVs in the high-performance, premium, and luxury segments for the world's most prestigious automotive brands. Carbon Revolution is creating a significant and sustainable advanced technology business that supplies its lightweight wheel technology to automotive manufacturers around the world. Let's kick off with a video. Roll it.
As the world shifts to electric vehicles, the automotive industry is becoming intensely focused on weight. Carbon fibre wheels are up to 50% lighter than conventional aluminium wheels, and this weight comes out in a very important part of the vehicle, the rotating unsprung mass. This allows a dramatic improvement in range and the performance of the vehicle. Carbon Revolution was founded over a decade ago now by a group of engineers. The intention was always to disrupt the global automotive industry with this significant step change lightweight wheel technology. We never set out to be a niche player.
It's responsive and it's so fast. It's brutally fast.
Today, we're still the only company in the world to be able to produce OEM carbon fibre wheels at scale. We've protected that advantage over 10 years of experience in developing proprietary technology and over 90 patents at granted or pending stage.
We've sold over 65,000 wheels and won OEM supply contracts with Ford, General Motors, Ferrari, Jaguar Land Rover, and Renault, and we're only just getting started. Our customers can't get enough of our wheels. Our revenue pipeline is stronger than ever. We have hundreds of millions of dollars of projected revenue from current contracts, and almost half of this accelerating demand is for electric vehicle programs.
To meet this demand, we're scaling up. Our first mega line kicks off a step change in our production capacity and efficiency. Utilising state-of-the-art robotics and advanced distributed control systems, Megaline integrates key proprietary manufacturing processes that we've refined and grown over the last decade. With process design founded in Industry 4.0 tech, Megaline means more production capacity, improved efficiency and ultimately better margins. Make no mistake, the Megaline is the beating heart of the plant.
Carbon Revolution's lightweight technology is disrupting the automotive wheel market and enhancing new mobility. The revolution's underway.
All right, everyone, let's welcome Gerald Buckle, Chief Financial Officer, and Nick Batchelor, Commercial Director. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Anna. Fantastic to be here and talk to around this afternoon about Carbon Revolution.
Okay, the floor is yours. Call me back when you're ready for some questions, okay?
Wonderful, thank you. Carbon Revolution, we've got a fantastic business here. We're making carbon fiber wheels, as you see there, on some of the world's leading cars, leading car brands, and we're making carbon fiber wheels for the world. A very disruptive technology, lightweight technology, and we're the only ones in the world making carbon fiber wheels en masse for OEMs. The market, it's a really big market. Global wheel market is $38 billion a year worth of new wheels, and we're just starting. So we've got a really big market to penetrate in front of us, which is very exciting. We've got a lot of IP. We spent a lot of time and cost developing what we've got, both in the wheels, all the technology in the wheels, and the process to make the wheels as well. Over 120 patents that are global patents. We've really got our IP wrapped up all around the world. The customer relationships are really strong. You know, with the safety critical technology like wheels, you don't get them up and running on new vehicles with OEMs unless you've got really good relationships. We've spent years developing those relationships, and they're really strong relationships. And that's helped us. That's helped us with all the growth that we're now achieving. we've got 18 awarded programs to date, and those programs, they're in production. We've got some completed programs, we've got some in production, and we've got a lot coming in this year and next year and the year after, and we're going to take you through that in a little while. And of all those programs, we've got a really big backlog, $730 million of backlog. That's of awarded programs, and that's the revenue that we're forecasting is going to come from all those awarded programs. So it's very exciting. We're at a real inflection point now where we're building the business, and we're going to see a lot of revenue growth coming through over the coming years.
Gerald spoke about our relations that we've established with the OEMs, and we really did that during the first of 3 key phases that we've had in our business to date. That R&D phase where we worked very closely and seriously from 2010 with OEMs to understand their requirements to introduce a safety critical technology. This is the first new wheel technology to be introduced since aluminium wheels, and it's a very important part of the vehicle. And we worked with over 15 OEMs to introduce and understand the requirements of that technology and what we needed to do. We tested and iterated that to the point that that culminated in the award of our first program with Ford on the Shelby Mustang GT350R, which was launched at the Detroit Motor Show in 2015. From that time, Ferrari was closely following Ford, and we had our own Ford versus Ferrari period there where we had multiple follow-on programs with both Ford and Ferrari, and then led into new programs with Renault, recently the launch of the Corvette with General Motors, and the Range Rover Sport with Jaguar Land Rover. It's a very exciting period of time as we've now got 18 awarded programs. We operate from Australia from a 10,000 square metre facility, and we listed on the NASDAQ in November 2023.
And 2023 was a transformative year for Carbon Revolution. It was a really big year. Along with the listing, we won a lot of business. So we were awarded 5 new programs and several EVs in those new programs. And on average, there was a step change in size of those programs. They're larger programs than we've won in the past. Just like the first programs was a very small program with a Ferrari, and then we started stepping up in sort of volume. That's continued. So our largest program wins are our most recent wins, and that will continue. The next program win is likely to be larger again. The backlog almost doubled with all that business that we won. The backlog almost doubled. So we went into the year with a much smaller backlog. We came out of the year with $730 million worth of backlog. The backlog is business that we've locked in. It's all going to come out of our Australian plant. It really fills our Australian plant. And it fills it for, the coming sort of 4 to 5 years. Those programs, they're going to last for, on average, 4 or 5 years. And so we've got our Australian plant full for that period of time. We saw the launch of the Range Rover Sport, and that was a really important one. We'd been on sports cars up until the Range Rover. Now we're on an SUV, so it's a fantastic expansion for us, and it shows the world, it shows the OEMs, that we can branch out and be on more than a Ford Mustang or a Ferrari, which is fantastic. It's a natural place to start at that really sort of high end and sports type of area for a new product like ours. But now we're starting to see the trickle down into more mainstream vehicles, and we're going to see a lot more of that in our new programs this year and next year. We've also built our Mega Line, and Mega Line is really bringing along a lot of automation and transport systems and conveyor systems to them, and robots to the manufacturing process. So we built that Mega Line last year. We commissioned about halfway through the year. We got that, running reasonably well through the back half of the year, and we're fine-tuning it and getting even more product out of it this year. The Mega Line really is, as Dave French said, it's the beating heart of the plant. We're looking at wheels coming out of that Mega Line. Every hour there's more and more wheels coming out of our Mega Line, which is fantastic. We started transforming our balance sheet. We listed on the NASDAQ. We bought some new debt on board. We bought some new preferred equity on board, and we've really started transforming the balance sheet. So it was a really big year in 23. And when we look at what Carbon Rev does really uniquely, you know, there's other wheel manufacturers out there, and there's a lot of steel wheels and a lot of aluminium wheels. Ours are carbon fiber wheels. The thing that is really special about carbon fiber wheels is the lightweighting and the benefits that the carbon fiber and the lightweighting bring to the vehicles. So the lightweighting is, you know, it's up to 50%. It's a really significant difference that we can bring to OEMs. And if you look at the chart on the left-hand side, you can see that over the years, cars are getting heavier and heavier, and it's a real problem for OEMs. OEMs are desperately trying to take weight out of their vehicles, and they have to do things these days like taking back seats out of vehicles, and they don't want to do it. We've come along and we've offered a bolt-on alternative. Take off a metal wheel, put on a carbon fiber wheel, and you can save lots and lots of pounds. And not only that, you get range benefit, you get performance benefits, and noise and vibration benefits as well. So the OEMs are really listening. That chart on the left-hand side is really helping us break into more vehicles, into more OEMs, and we're going to see a lot more carbon fiber wheels on the road over the years to come.
So as Gerald said, range is really the currency of the realm for OEMs as they transition to electric vehicles. But it's not just an EV technology. All cars have wheels, and all vehicles are looking for increased efficiency, whether it's internal combustion engine, hybrids, or EVs. So Gerald spoke about the range. Wheels are getting bigger all the time. So 10 years ago, 16 inches was probably a reasonable size wheel, and smaller prior to that. And we're now seeing wheels 23 inches with the Range Rover Sport and larger than that. And that creates significant loads on vehicles and makes the engineering challenge particularly difficult. So to be able to offer up to 100 pounds of weight saving in these highly important unsprung rotating masses on the vehicle is really important to our customers. So we're solving problems there as wheels are getting larger. Our customers love the aesthetic impact of the vehicle, of the wheels in the vehicle. Our customers talk about wheels being up to a third of the aesthetic impact of the vehicle. So it's critical real estate on the vehicle for our customers. And finally, our customers are seeing the benefits of a noise, vibration, handling perspective, as EVs don't have the engine noise to mask those noises. So you can imagine aluminium wheels being a metallic substance, they ring like a bell, whereas carbon fiber wheels being a composites, they really damp the transmission of those road noises. So it makes the vehicles much more comfortable, both from a ride perspective, but also from a handling perspective. What does that translate to? Well, we've got 18 awarded programs to date. Our nearest competitor has only got one. In terms of those 18, we've completed 5 programs, so they've gone through the whole life cycle of those vehicles through development, production, and now we're supporting them with after-sales spare parts for the remainder of the life of those vehicles. And we have 13 active programs that consist of 6 that are in production at the moment, so we're supplying wheels to production line for production vehicles. And we've got 7 in the development phase. They're awarded programs, 2 of which are electric vehicles, and Gerald spoke about them as being the largest programs we have had to date, and then 5 in the ICE internal combustion engine or hybrid vehicle stages as well. So a really good pipeline of active and programs under development. And then we've got business development activities adding to that as well. So 18 vehicle programs, and that's with we've had 85,000 wheels on the road to date. There's a really well-trodden path for the adoption of new technologies into the automotive space. You can see on the left-hand side of this chart a range of new technologies, which you'll all be familiar with now. They've become ubiquitous. They started at the premium all-performance end of the market. So there's a really well-trodden path, and it does take a number of years for the OEMs and consumers to become comfortable with the technology, understand the adoption of them, so the consumer uptake. And then once you've gone through that initial period, there's a really steep curve as the technology proliferates across the vehicle range. And with our 85,000 plus vehicles on the road over the last since 2015, we're really seeing now with our backlog that we're hitting that really steep part of the adoption curve. So it's a really exciting time for us. Gerald spoke earlier about the backlog. So in the past 12 months, we've grown from 335 million now to 730 million. So that's a 115% increase to our backlog. Our backlog, you might think of it as bookings. It's also known as in the industry, but that's really the projected revenue over the life of the vehicles. And almost 50% of that is from electric vehicles. The right-hand side of the slide really shows the performance that we've had to date on programs that we've completed. And in all instances, we've delivered greater than the expectation that we had when we were awarded those programs initially. So that's OEMs and consumers becoming more comfortable and understanding the technology, and it's really been above what we had expected and our customers had expected when they initially awarded the program. So it gives us really strong confidence going forward with our projections in those in that backlog.
And as I said earlier, 2023 was a really transformative year for Carbon Revolution in many ways. And one way is illustrated here, our revenue growth. You can see on the left-hand side, our revenue growth year on year, is quite significant. And then you can see quarter by quarter how that actually came together. And that growth throughout the quarters is because we brought new programs on during the course of the year. And so we're adding more programs in. We're adding more, therefore, more revenue, more sales, and we're going to see the benefit of that again in 2024 and 2025. So we not only have the programs that in 24, for example, we not only have the programs that came in during the course of 23, where we'll get a full year worth of revenue and the growth from that, but we've got more programs coming in during 24, and we've got more programs coming in during 25. So we really have locked in growth over the next 3 to 4 years. And now, now we're about building the plant, making sure that those new programs that we've got coming, that we've got the capacity to deliver them. And that's our focus now through the course of 24 and into 25. We're really excited about the revenue growth. 23 was a transformative year, locking all the new business in. We've got all those wheels in development that we've locked in, during last year, and we're really, really excited to see those coming into our revenue and hitting the market and being announced, in 24 and 25. We've got a clear cost reduction pathway and therefore a clear pathway through to profitability. The key things for manufacturing business is scale. Scale unlocks a lot of efficiencies. We have labour through the plant, and the labour through the plant is reasonably fixed. People doing jobs at different stations, they need to be there whether they're making one wheel in a shift or making 50 wheels. So as we grow our volume through the course of this year and next year, we get a lot of labour efficiencies. That's really clear. We know where it's coming from, and we're seeing that at the moment as our growth comes. But when our growth really accelerates in the back half of this year and next year, we're going to see so much more. So we really unlock labour through the volume. Also, the volume really lets us work with our material suppliers to unlock better prices. As you would expect, our buying power at the moment, with the small revenue we have, is not as strong as we'd like it to be. So our buying power changes significantly over the coming couple of years as our volume really grows, and we see significant opportunities for material cost down over the coming couple of years. There's other areas as well. So our Megaline, and I talked about our Megaline earlier, it's not just volume. Megaline has more automation. It's got a transport system that takes people away from moving parts around the factory. We've added a lot of automation and carrier systems into the plant that allow us to unlock labour to do other more productive jobs as well. And then materials, as we expand our range of wheels over the coming few years, we're getting better all the time at our cutting technology and our use of carbon fibre. So we're reducing our scrap sort of year on year as well. So there's some really big levers for us over the next couple of years to move towards profitability. Then in the longer term, you should think of our plant in Australia as like a pilot plant. We're going to build our plant to about 70,000 wheels per annum. We've got that all sold, so that brings through those awarded programs in our backlog. We bring them through into that 70,000 wheels per annum of capacity, and then we will know we know how to make really good carbon fibre wheels with a leader in the market by probably up to 10 years. And what we're doing at the moment is really learning quite well how to make them en masse. As soon as we finish that, we get the capacity to 70,000 wheels. Then we'll build our next plant in a location in the Northern Hemisphere, maybe somewhere like Mexico, where we're much closer to the OEMs. We're much closer to carbon fibre suppliers, so we have a lot of cost reduction through a much more efficient supply chain than what we have at the moment. And we have cost reduction through lower cost labour. Australia is probably the most expensive manufacturing labour in the world. So the next plant will set up in a lower cost country with a supply chain that is so much simpler, so much closer to customers and suppliers, and will reduce complexity and cost. So our pathway to profitability in Australia is very clear, and then our pathway to really accelerating that profitability in the next plant is very clear as well. And just to wrap up, I think we've got a really unique opportunity. There's probably not too many businesses out there in the world that have up to a 10-year advantage on their competitors, and we genuinely do. As Nick said, we've got 85,000 wheels on the road. We've got all those programs that are locked in. We know how to make carbon fibre wheels en masse, and we're doing more of that this year. There's no one like that in the world. Our closest competitors, are probably where we were back in about 2014. So we are a long way in front, and we plan to stay that way. And I think that delivers the opportunity for Carbon Revolution to be a very profitable and a very successful company. All the benefits we've talked about of the wheels, they're going to be there. Aluminium wheels will never bridge the gap. So there is a permanent difference between us and aluminium wheels. Our wheels are just so much better in every way, and they're going to remain that way, and we're going to get we're going to get the scale through, and we're going to have a very profitable business in the years to come. We might wrap it up there and go to questions.
Great job, gentlemen. We do have some questions for you. Lots happened in your world. So between listing on the NASDAQ, the signing of several new OEM customer contracts, 2023 was a great year. So what do you hope to achieve in 2024?
2023, as I've said a few times, was really transformative. It was a fantastic year for us. So 2024 is really a simpler year. We don't have to win any business. And our programs that we've won last year, they're all in development. 2024 is really about bringing those programs that are in development, bringing them through into production, and building the capacity. At the moment, we're at around 30,000 wheels per annum of capacity, and by the end of the year, we'll be probably up around 60,000.
Great. And you recorded a 117% year-over-year increase in revenue for Q2 of financial year of 24. So what's driving Carbon Revolution's revenue growth?
Yes, so the revenue growth, and just to cap off on that last question as well, and I'll do those together. The year is about execution. So we're really expanding our capacity. We have placed all those orders. We've got all our contractors lined up, and we're increasing the capacity month on month, and it's going very well. And we're not bringing new technology into the business at all. We're bringing in the existing technology, but just more of it. We've built our mega line to the size of about 70,000 wheels of capacity, and we're just putting more moulding stations in. We're putting more rim layup stations in. They make the barrel. So it's more of the same technology to actually just expand the capacity. So we've de-risked our capacity expansion this year from what we've done over the last year. And our revenue growth, Our revenue growth is because I guess it's because we've got fantastic wheels. They really deliver a big difference to our customers. The light weighting that we've talked about, the noise and vibration benefits for EVs, the range extension. We have OEMs coming to us looking for solutions for their vehicles. Vehicles are getting much bigger, and some of the metal wheels are destroying the suspension and the undercarriage of the car on some of the biggest and sort of top range vehicles. So we have OEMs coming to us looking for a lightweight solution, and we're the only ones in the world with that lightweight solution. And the really good thing about that revenue growth, we've got it locked in. It's in the backlog. It's in the programs we've won previously, and now we're just bringing it through.
Fascinating. So talk a little bit about why. Why are car manufacturers increasingly choosing to fit Carbon Revolution's carbon fiber wheels to their vehicles, and especially to the EV vehicles out there?
I'll take this one, Joe, if that's okay. Look, the carbon fiber wheels are really the biggest change that the automotive industry has seen for wheel technology for decades. And we're disrupting the market in ways that are numerous and they're universal across platforms, whether it's EVs or internal combustion engines. And it's really what the industry needs right now as they're driving efficiency technologies, regardless of platform. We're bringing range improvements of 5 to 10% for EVs with better handling characteristics and superior performance. We're doing to the aluminium wheel industry what the aluminium wheel industry did to steel wheels, quite frankly. And the weight benefits we bring are a really important part of the vehicle for OEMs. So it's not just the marketing teams who love the technology, it's also the engineers on these vehicles who are striving every day, looking for pounds on the vehicles, and we're bringing 100 pounds of a bolt-on technology, which is really important to them. And it's this kind of physical improvement technology that has made Bob Lutz come on board and be our chair of the company, actually.
Well, you had a major ramp up last year, and 2024 is going to be a huge ramp up as well. But what challenges do you expect? What challenges are you anticipating, and how are you going to overcome them?
Yeah, look, the key challenges we have, as I said earlier, it's an execution year for us. The key challenge is just bringing all that capacity in. There's no new technology, but we've still got to do it. So we've got our contractors lined up. We placed a lot of orders in the back half of last year to make sure that all those long lead order items, we've de-risked those because we've placed the orders. We've got the contractors working on all of those, and we're going to see some serious sort of asset growth in the plant in the back half of the year. So we're de-risking, that challenge by working really closely with those key contractors, and we manage them very closely. We've got the right people on board, right project managers on board that are watching very closely those contractors to make sure they're going to deliver to plan for us. The other key challenge, which is a little bit outside of our control, is actually when the OEMs do actually launch their new vehicles. It is outside of our control. We've got the awarded programs. They're all won. They're ready to go. We're developing those wheels, and those wheels look really good. Some of those wheels are actually easier to manufacture than some of our existing programs. So we're really looking forward to starting to manufacture them. But if the OEMs programs, if they're pulling their sort of vehicle and their vehicle line together, all the suppliers, if anything slows down there, and an OEM, the release of that new vehicle into production slips back by 2 or 3 months, that'll impact us by 2 or 3 months. So we'll be ready to go. We're on track, and the OEMs are all on track for the plan of, what we're going to deliver for them this year. It's all on track at the moment, which is really good. But there is that risk that if they delay by some months, then we would be delayed by some months. And that one we can't control. But as far as the development of the wheels and the bringing all the new assets in, we control that, and we're on track for that.
Well, you mentioned it in your presentation, but what specific car makers have already used Carbon Revolution's wheels?
Yes, we've got 11 programs in the market to date across 5 OEMs, so Ford, General Motors, Ferrari, Jaguar Land Rover, and Renault.
And what about some customers lined up for the future?
So this future, we spoke about those 7 awarded programs that are in development at the moment. So they're across existing customers, but we also have a program within that mix with an unnamed customer at this stage that is a premium brand of a major German OEM. And of those 7 programs, 2 of those are EVs. So it's a really exciting time for us, growing our customer base and growing the segments that we're participating in.
And speaking of growth,
our BD portfolio is really large as well. You know, Nick's talked about all those programs that we have won. You know, we're talking to more OEMs than the ones that that the world knows about at the moment. We're talking to a lot more, and we're actually turning some away because we're capacity constrained. We're full. We're going to be full out of the Australian plant, and it's not until we sort of launch a Mexico plant that we can really engage with a broader range of OEMs. But we do have a really active BD pipeline, and that's because of the benefits that we bring. The BD pipeline now is really focused on a Mexico plant. So what we're doing at the moment, with the Australian capacity all sold out, we're really working on, you know, a much bigger plant, much bigger programs with our key customers at the moment, and about a Mexico plant and what sort of volume would they like to see coming out of that. And we're really starting to have active discussions about the next plant and the volume that goes around that.
And talk a little bit more about your international expansion.
The international expansion is twofold. So, you know, as Nick mentioned earlier, just in a previous question, we've now won a program with a subsidiary of a German OEM. So for a while, we've had the Italians in Ferrari, and we've had a good mixture of US. We've had the Renault program. We haven't been able to break into the German market, but we now have, which is really good, and that's a very big OEM, and we're really looking forward to expanding our business in the years to come with that German OEM. And in Germany, there's a lot of cars made in Germany, and there's a lot of cars there that we think our wheels would suit very well. The other part of the expansion is a new plant. So, you know, a Mexico plant, I could see, you know, happening maybe in 27. We might be up and running with a Mexico plant. I think we'll have a fast follow-up probably in Eastern Europe. Australia is a difficult place to make carbon fibre wheels because we're bringing carbon fibre from the Northern Hemisphere. We're bringing some other inputs from the Northern Hemisphere and from Asia. Right down to the bottom of Australia, we're making wheels and we're sending them back to the Northern Hemisphere. So the international expansion is both, you know, the customers and a key focus for us in that last sort of, you know, customer grouping is the Germans, and then it's expansion into North America in manufacturing and Eastern Europe.
Well, last question, talk a little bit about your competitive advantage. Who are your competitors?
Nick.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So our competitors are companies. They can be subsidiaries of, you know, large European organisations, but or small early stage companies. I guess what's common is they're finding it really hard to do. We worked very hard over more than a decade to develop the technology, and it's a safety critical component. So working with OEMs that, like we did, bring in the technology and create a real barrier to entry for them. The nearest competitor to us has one vehicle program in the market. We've got 11 vehicles on the road and 7 more under development, so 18 awarded programs. We're many years ahead of the competition, and we plan to stay there. Each of those programs that we've won and delivered has enabled us to improve the technology, whether it's product or manufacturing process or the way we go about designing the wheels in parallel. So it's really extending our lead.
Wonderful. Well, this has been fascinating. Listening to your presentation, great job. We have so many more questions for you, but we are out of time. So that means you just got to come back and give us some more updates in the future. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Good. Thanks, Anna.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, everyone. What a great day we have had on our day 1 of Emerging Growth Conference. We will see you back here tomorrow morning. We start right at 9 a.m. Eastern for day 2 of our Super Investor Conference. See you tomorrow.